It's the middle of July and the sun is beating down hard. You're out in your garden, on your knees, looking at plants that ought to be bursting with life, but they're not. The tomato leaves are yellowing and curling at the edges. The soil is cracked and hard as clay. The bean pods are shriveled with almost nothing inside. You run your finger across the surface and feel the heat. The ground is too hot, burning the shallow roots while you look on. You spent the whole spring preparing that soil. You rented the rototiller, burned through 2 tanks of gas, bought chemical fertilizer from the store, spent weekends on your knees pulling weeds. $150 and a good 40 hours of work. And now, at the peak of the season, the garden is dying. You water every day, but the water runs off like the ground has turned to stone. The plants wilt each afternoon and recover at night, but every morning they wake a little weaker. You're already counting what you'll have to spend at the grocery store to make up for the lost harvest. And then you see your neighbor's garden, the one who barely does a thing. He doesn't till, doesn't weed, hardly shows up. And his plants are enormous, zucchini the size of your forearm, tomatoes red and heavy, hanging like ornaments. His soil is dark, soft, fragrant, covered in a thick layer of half-rotted straw. You stick your finger in, and it's cool and damp underneath, even though it hasn't rained in 3 days. You ask him his secret. He shrugs. Stop fighting the land, Jacob. She already knows what to do. I want you to stop and think about this for a minute. Everything you've been taught about gardening, till the soil, keep it clean, make it neat. What if it's all wrong? There's no luck in a garden that grows 3 times as much with half the work. There never was. It's knowledge that was hidden from you, not by accident, but because there's no money in teaching people to grow food without buying a thing. Every grandmother on a farm in the country once knew this method, not by any fancy name, and they called it covering the earth. My own grandmother would cover the bean patch with straw every fall and say, "The land likes a blanket, child. Don't leave her bare." It was knowledge passed from mother to daughter, from grandmother to granddaughter, and it cost nothing, not a penny. You could learn it in 15 minutes and use it for the rest of your life. But somewhere along the way, that knowledge was lost. The garden stores don't teach it because they don't sell rotten hay. The agricultural courses don't teach it because the fertilizer industry doesn't sponsor them. And a whole country today digs, tills, fertilizes, and complains, while the answer has been under their noses the whole time. Let me tell you who I am. My name is Jacob Miller. I'm an Amish farmer out in the Holmes County settlement here in Ohio, and my wife is Rebecca. She grew up doing this with her mother, who learned from her mother. What I'm about to share isn't theory. It's what we do on the land here every single day. Before we get into it, if you like learning the old ways, tap that like button. It helps this little channel more than you'd guess. And subscribe so you can keep learning alongside Rebecca and me. That's all I'll ask. Now, let me show you how to let the land work for you. Here's how it'll go. The thick layer. The most important of all. The right material. How to apply it. The water that stays. The stable temperature. The life that comes back. And the patience the system takes. Number 1. The thick layer, and this is the most important of all. The common mistake is putting down a thin decorative layer from a bag at the store. It doesn't work. What works is 6 to 20 inches of organic material. You didn't read that wrong. 6 inches at the very least, up to 20 if you can manage it. Ruth Stout, who perfected this method in the 1930s and wrote books about it, started with 20 inches of spoiled hay because she knew it would settle. Nature in the forest doesn't scatter a thin layer of leaves. It piles on years of organic matter, layer upon layer, until it forms that soft, dark soil. A thin layer is decoration. A thick layer is farming. If you can see the soil through your mulch, you don't have enough. Number 2, the right material. Use hay that farmers can't sell to their livestock. Straw from wheat or oats, it usually has fewer weed seeds. Arborist wood chips, the Back to Eden method Paul Gauci made famous, seen by millions. Dry autumn leaves that your neighbors bag and set on the curb. Pure gold, free in every neighborhood. Avoid black walnut and eucalyptus, which contain chemicals that stop other plants from growing. Everything else is fair game. Rebecca gathers fallen leaves every autumn and piles them in a corner, and by the following year they've turned into black earth. Number 3, don't bury it, don't till it. This is the step that confuses most folks. You put the material on top of the soil. You don't dig it in, don't turn it under, don't rototill. You lay it on the surface and let nature do what it's been doing for millions of years. When you till, you destroy the fungal networks that connect the roots. You break the soil structure, you expose the deep layers to the sun, and they dry out in hours. The forest doesn't till. The leaves fall, the worms work, and the trees grow without fertilizer or irrigation. Number 4, the water that stops evaporating. A meta-analysis of 74 studies found that heavy mulching increases yields by up to 60%. The main reason is water. Mulched soil reduces evaporation by up to 70%. Water that would evaporate in hours from bare ground stays available for days. Ruth Stout grew potatoes in the hot Connecticut summers without any irrigation at all. 0. While her neighbors spent hours with the hose, her potatoes grew under the hay blanket in constant moisture. Number 5, the temperature that stops swinging. Bare soil can swing 30 degrees in a single day. Your plants spend the whole day in thermal stress. Under heavy mulch, soil temperature stays stable near 50 degrees Fahrenheit, ideal for most vegetables. Research shows organic mulching lowers soil temperatures by more than 10 degrees Celsius during hot periods. The organic layer insulates, cool in summer, warm in winter. Your plants stop suffering from temperature swings, and that means faster growth and bigger harvests. Number 6, the life that comes back. This is the most beautiful step of all. Under deep mulch, earthworm populations can increase 10 times. Each worm aerates the soil, deposits rich castings, creates channels for water and air. Beneficial fungi that break down lignin and release phosphorus explode in number. A meta-analysis of 56 studies confirmed that organic practices significantly increase soil microbial abundance. A single season of heavy mulch creates more biological activity than years of tilling ever could. You're not just growing plants, you're building a living ecosystem that works for free. Number 7, the patience. The system takes 1 to 3 years to fully establish. Slugs and snails thrive in the hay environment. Voles can tunnel under the layers. In wet years, potatoes under deep mulch can rot before sprouting, and you need access to large quantities of material. But every problem has a solution. Slugs are controlled with chickens or traps. The rodents settle as the ecosystem balances. The first year's difficulty is the price for soil that, from the second season, works for you. Now here's where it all comes together. Thick layer, 6 to 20 inches, not decoration. Organic material, spoiled hay, straw, wood chips, leaves. Don't bury it, don't till it. The water stays. The temperature stabilizes. The life comes back and works for free. And patience, 1 to 3 years, then it never stops. There's no money in teaching people to cover their soil with rotten hay. The global fertilizer market alone is worth over $200 billion a year. Add pesticides, herbicides, tilling equipment, and you have an industrial complex that depends on you buying inputs year after year. Every person who discovers they can grow abundant food without those inputs is revenue lost. The method looks messy. No perfect rows, no turned earth, no garden magazine look. That's why the knowledge stopped being passed on. Let me be straight with you about the title. Triples your harvest. The science backs it. A 60% yield increase from the meta-analysis on top of the moisture and temperature benefits. But not every garden, not every year, and not without the first season's work. Illegal. It's not truly illegal. It's simply unconventional. Some HOAs have rules about garden appearance. The USDA restricts non-certified hay on federal lands. But in your own backyard, nobody's coming for you. The Amish secret, the way of letting the land cover itself, is truly old and truly our way and truly forgotten by most. Let's do the math. A bag of fertilizer costs $20. Rototiller fuel, another $15. Seedlings that die from bare soil, another $30. Water in summer, $50 a month. A family spends $150 a season fixing problems that a thick layer of organic material would solve for free. Ruth Stout grew potatoes for decades without irrigation, without fertilizer, without a rototiller. 100 pounds from a modest plot, year after year. The first year you invest in the material. After that, the system pays for itself. So here's what I'd have you do this week. Find a farmer with old hay, call a tree service for wood chips, gather autumn leaves from your neighbor's curb, pick one bed, just one, and cover it with 6 inches of material. Plant something, and watch what happens. Bring the little ones in on it. Let them help spread the hay and hunt for worms. Let them learn that the soil doesn't need to be conquered. It needs to be fed. After they taste the difference, they'll never let you garden the old way again. That's how the knowledge comes back. Now I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, which of these steps was new to you? And if your grandmother had a way of covering the earth, share it down there. Those old family secrets slip away when nobody writes them down, and I read everyone. Next time, since we're talking about methods the industry hid, I'll show you how to make the finest compost in 14 days, the Amish way. It's the natural step after today. Until then, look for the straw, listen to the soil, and remember that the forest wrote a love letter in every leaf that falls to the ground. You only have to stop sweeping and start reading. Tend your garden gently. Keep the poison out, waste nothing, and grow more than you need, so you can share the abundance with the people you love.